My brother had came and told me, said, the police looking for you. And I said, for what? And he said, I don't know. They didn't tell me nothing. And I said, I'm going to go down to the county jail and see what they want with me.
On September 15th, 1990, a 3-year-old girl named Courtney Smith disappeared from her home in Brooksville, Mississippi. She was sexually assaulted and murdered. 2 days later, the police chief found her in a nearby pond. A sheriff's deputy arrested LaVon Brooks. He was the ex-boyfriend of Courtney's mom. He said he was working in a nightclub at the time, and that he was innocent.
They kept me like for 72 hours for questioning and investigation. So I ain't had no problem with that. So then they said they want to do a dental impression. And I said, okay, fine.
A pathologist named Stephen Hain conducted Courtney's autopsy. He suspected there were human bite marks on her wrist. His report recommended that a forensic dentist named Dr. Michael West also examine her.
They ran a dental impression on me. So that's what got me to wondering then, is they trying to set me up? They charged me with capital murder. I couldn't even believe that.
At the trial, Dr. West testified that LaVon Brooks' teeth matched perfectly with the marks on the girl's skin. He said he had no doubt that Brooks had bitten her, using only his upper teeth. Brooks was sentenced to life.
I felt like my life was over with. And I know for a fact in my heart, and I know God knows, and my family knows, that I hadn't did nothing.
4 months after Brooks went to prison, someone raped and murdered another 3-year-old girl in Brooksville. Her name was Christine Jackson. A search team found her days later in a nearby creek. The same deputy who arrested LaVon Brooks arrested her mother's boyfriend, Kennedy Brewer. Dr. Hain performed the autopsy and again suspected multiple bite marks. He again referred in Dr. West. During the trial, which was prosecuted by the same DA, Dr. West said that Christine Jackson had been bitten 19 times, and again only with upper teeth. Kennedy Brewer was sentenced to death.
I know he was wrong about what he said, because I know I ain't had bit nobody. I was hoping they found me not guilty, but they didn't know.
Brewer's crime was so similar to LaVon Brooks's case, he figured someone would discover the truth. And eventually, someone did.
It's absurd. It was absurd. These cases were almost clearly connected.
Tucker Carrington is the director of the Mississippi Innocence Project. They work to free people who've been wrongfully convicted.
Dr. West said there were 19 identifiable bite marks, probably many more. They didn't look like bite marks. They weren't bite marks.
At the trial, another forensic dentist testified in Brewer's defense the marks could have been caused by insects or fish or turtles. Dr. Hain says he's certified in forensic pathology. He's never been accredited in that specialty by the American Board of Pathology, the leading national board. In 2001, DNA testing showed that Kennedy Brewer had not raped Christine Jackson.
The results, I think, surprised everybody except for Mr. Brewer. You would think that you would go back to the drawing board. That wasn't what happened. They didn't bother to go look for whoever did it. They didn't bother to run the DNA profile in some database. They didn't do any of that.
Brewer was taken off death row, but the prosecutor planned to re-indict him. Brewer stayed in the county jail 5 more years. The Innocence Project took on Brewer's case. They had the DNA retested in 2007. The lab confirmed that Kennedy Brewer was innocent, and they generated a DNA profile of a new suspect. His name was Justin Albert Johnson. Police went to his home.
He more or less immediately confessed to the rape and murder of the victim in Mr. Brewer's case, and then shortly thereafter also confessed to the rape and murder of the victim in Mr. Brooks's case. When you look at the lists of the suspects in both cases. There's one person who is listed on both of those lists. It's extraordinary.
DNA evidence linking Justin Albert Johnson of Brooksville.
Johnson was charged with capital murder. He is still awaiting trial. The state dropped all charges against Kennedy Brewer on February 15, 2008.
You're free to go.
They released LaVon Brooks the same day. A judge officially cleared Brooks a month later. Combined, Brooks and Brewer had spent more than 30 years in jail.
He told me, said, Mr. Brooks, all your charges been dismissed. You free to go. That's what the exciting life, ooh, it felt so good. I think everybody should be getting a fair trial. And like forensic experts like Dr. Weston Haynes, I think they should not never be able to practice nothing in no kind of state because of what they did to us and maybe other people. They got to deal with God, not me.